On a solid fuel and wood burning Rayburn, it's important that your fuel should be stored under cover to keep it reasonably dry. Here we have a coal bunker which has got furnaceite in, and that keeps it from getting wet during driving rain. But in this installation they primarily burn wood for most of the burning season, and it is absolutely essential that wood burnt on Rayburn is well seasoned. By that we mean wood that's felled and cut into manageable sized pieces and then left for at least a year, up to 2 years or more is fine, under cover, so gradually the moisture content from the sap can reduce down to something in the region of 17 to 20%. This is a large cheese which is long-term storage in this installation, and then it's going to be cut down with an axe, split into probably 6 smaller logs, but you can already see this has been in storage around the back of this log store, and these little cracks show that the moisture content has been reduced. It's probably about 2 years old now. Just brought this out to show you. Here we have some silver birch. Logs that are sort of 5 or 6 inches in diameter, a recommended size, obviously smaller pieces for building the fire up. Larger logs, as I say, ideally split into smaller parts, just so that they reach their ignition temperature as quickly as possible. This is one of the highest output solid fuel and wood burning cookers that we make in the Rayburn range, and it has the same oven found on most models, and the lower oven is a warming oven. And you'll notice on the solid fuel models we actually have the thermodile calibrated in degrees Celsius, because that is how you're able to determine an exact centre oven temperature, and by watching that and using the controls you're able to regulate the cooker to get any desired oven temperature. The hot plate is made of a single piece of cast iron. It's very thick, it has deep heat absorbing fins over the fire to concentrate and focus the heat, so fast boiling is always on the end over the fire on a solid fuel and wood burning Rayburn, and then the heat's graduated across to the simmering end. This cooker's cold because we're going to light it. On the end of the hot plate we have this access door which is removed obviously with a metal tool when the cooker's at a low rate, to be able to clean the flue way above the oven. That's a sort of monthly cleaning operation that takes literally half a minute. Today's solid fuel and wood burning Rayburn, the flue box is on the right hand side, and on this model we have the Flue Damper. It literally comes out and it's actually numbered 1 to 5. We're going to be lighting the cooker in a moment, so I want to make sure that's literally pulled out fully, so we have a nice open flue. And you'll notice this is also a discrete control here. This is a flue dilution lever. That's sometimes used if the flue pulls particularly well to enable the slowest rate of burning overnight. On the Ashpit door we have the Spinwheel, and because I'm going to be lighting the cooker, just opening that to the full extent of its travel. And this control is also used when it's in the near close position to enable long slow idling. You'll notice on a modern Rayburn that runs on solid fuel or wood, we've got a very large opening, so it's very easy to fill, and you can get quite large pieces of wood in there, which is very welcome. We've also got on the higher output models another control. It's a priority damper. The moment it's pointing to H, which means we are causing a proportion of the hot gases from the fire to go across the boiler. If I want to give as much heat as possible to the cooker, we move it around to C, then the gases pass under the hot plate and out, and the boiler gets less heat. So you're able to push the heat more towards the oven or more towards the boiler, depending on whether cooking is a priority or you're trying to get your radiators up to temperature first thing in the morning. So opening the Ashpit door reveals the bottom part of the fire. Here we have the ash pan. This should be regularly emptied when you're burning a mineral fuel. And we also have the grate, which on this model has reciprocating bars. If I just operate the lever on the outside, you can see those bars moving. However, if you're burning wood, you really don't need to riddle the fire hardly ever. It's best to burn wood on a nice bed of ash, but if you're running the cooker on a mineral fuel, then riddling regularly is very important so that the grate is kept nice and clear. So to light the cooker, we've got the flue damper in the fully open position. We've got the air supply to the fire via the Spinwheel, that's fully open, and the priority damper is in the cooking position, which is the shortest route to the chimney. I've scrunched up a little bit of newspaper and put on some very dry kindling, and I'm now going to light the newspaper from the bottom of the fire. That lights very easily. And you can even hear the fire roaring away so quickly. So in just a minute, the fire's really taken hold, and I can put on some smaller pieces of wood on top of the kindling that's well alight, and I'm going to pop on a couple of split logs, split side down, so they all catch nice and easily, and when they're well alight, I can then emit a full charge of fuel. When you're first lighting solid fuel or wood burning Rayburn, it's very important to get the chimney system operating as quickly as possible. So we do have the damper kept in the open position, certainly for 20-30 minutes, to get the whole chimney system nice and hot and pulling strongly. When that is working correctly, then we can actually push in the damper to a position that's found by experience to be optimised for any particular installation. But we'll leave it open initially to get a good draw. So because the chimney system is now fully heated and is drawing very well, the damper has been pressed in on this installation to number 3, which has been found from experience works perfectly with this chimney. It varies on the height of the chimney how much you push that in, so you determine that in the first few weeks of the installation. The thermodial on the main oven is already creeping up as heat is going into the cooker. It's just in the simmer section at the moment, and I don't want the cooker today to go above that because we're going to be using this oven for slow cooking. So what I need to do is now stop it getting much hotter. To do that, I literally close the spin wheel down on the Ashpit until it's fully closed, and then open it a quarter or half turn just to allow a thread of air through, so the fire will continue burning at its slowest rate, and then the oven will stabilise at about 30 to 50 degrees above where it is now, which is exactly what I want. Two further things to note: at the rear of the high output models, we have a thermostat here which is numbered, and that adjusts the temperature of the water in the heating system. So obviously in warmer months you don't want the radiators giving the same output as perhaps in January, February. And we also have an access panel here, and this lifts off, and that's how you get access to the boiler flueways, which need to be cleaned periodically with the brush supplied.